Hey guys, I really, I really hope you listen to this one, and I really hope that I make it through it, because I promise the Creator and myself that I would tell the truth about this situation, no matter how hard or how awkward it is. And I keep finding that when I watch my videos back, I'm beating around the bush. It's because, like I always say, to be so uncertain about something, but to be saying it anyway, involves a lot of trust and a lot of love. And amen, I have that. Um, the title of this video is What is Plectrum Electrum? That is a question that was given to us in the later years of Prince's career. And some pretty heavy duty stuff, you guys, that was disclosed to me about how deep his soul goes and some of the ancient things that I've been talking about. Um, Plectrum electrum is a form of electricity that is used. And I need you, if you will, for a moment, before you judge what I'm saying, to think about the movie Frankenstein. In the movie Frankenstein, they bring back someone to life with electricity. You know, Ben Franklin, they want you to think it's all a coinky dink. And there was actually some dude flying a kite with a key and just discovered electricity. That's like a joke. Electricity has been around for a very long time, since the time of ancient peoples, Anunnaki. It's the reason why pyramids were built. It's the reason why they had uh, Gobekli Tepe and those ancient places to conduct worshiping and visitation with what I call sky people, angels, um, our ancestors. The patriarchs and matriarchs, I don't know if the matriarchs were included, but of ancient times, and they were sky people. And I don't know exactly what happened right there, but I know that times changed and stuff was hidden and stuff like that. And then that's why the pyramids were built, because they used water in a form of electricity. And now we find ourselves in a time where we all know that dams exist, and suspension bridges and all kinds of things where electric and water go together. Um, I know I went a little off subject, but it's all important. When I was in Maui, I was out enjoying some of the most beautiful scenery I'd ever seen, nature, tiva in Hebrew, that I ever saw in my life. And it was so beautiful that it almost seemed fake. I look back at my pictures and was like, how could all this glory be in one place? But anyway, when I was there, I was looking at the ocean, and then to the side of the ocean, they have like an electric fence surrounding. I can't remember the name of the place. I'll have to look it up. But there was like this huge prisony looking electric fence that looked like it was going to electrify something if it came up and out of the water. And I was thinking, what is that fence doing in this place, this nature place? And this will come together, I promise. Um, Water and electricity, marine life as a whole, and the things that can be done underwater nowadays are a huge mystery to the world. But it was disclosed to me that is where a great deal of things do take place, as far as where UFOs, or what they call, whatever they're calling them now, can be seen going in and out of the water in Hawaii out there. They do things underwater. That's my point with electricity. And you better believe that Atlantis wasn't just something from a long time ago, but it's down there now. Because as I said, everything is told in the past and the present, back to the future sort of way. So what does it have to do with Prince Rogers Nelson? Well, when I had passed away that day and I was there in the heavenly places, and I may get some of this right and I may get it wrong, It was told to me that his soul is so ancient in aspects that I really can't understand or explain, but that his intellectual property, which is technically your soul, your intellectual property. So like if when I passed away, I didn't like see myself on the ground below, but your intellect, your brain is your soul. It's like who you are. So he told me, was being, the stories are going to come out and say that as I mentioned in my other videos, that he is some kind of alien antichrist, that has been hidden for centuries, that they were trying to keep control of. Okay, I know that sounds trippy as I don't know what, but it's true. And because his soul was so powerful, he came to know about this plan, but he kept it secret from me for all these years until when I died in 2010. And he told me, because he knew when the plan was going to happen now, that I was going to start hearing all these things and it would freak me out or trip me out to a point where he had to tell me ahead of time, because things are going to get pretty heavy duty and weird in the world. But moreover, he said that because his soul was so ancient, that I believe when I passed in 2010, that his soul was getting old, and very old and tired and ancient in a way. And that's when they said he had hip surgery, but they were creating like another prince, another genetic lookalike, which is how it comes to be two different investigations, because there's Prince Rogers Nelson and there's Prince. I know it sounds freaky, you guys. I saw him with my own eyes in concert. Okay, I did. And anyway, it was explained to me that because our reality is false, it is just like going to a Las Vegas show or New York Broadway play, crazy thing. You're seeing smoke and mirrors like you do at the concerts, and you really don't know what you're seeing. His soul and his intellect, in the way that he is the creator, has every reason. It's why he can play all the instruments. That's why the band was so tight. It's why everything ran so smoothly. But also on the other side of that, you guys, it was told to me that this other Prince twin entity thing that has always been there, I think it's like has like a feminine energy and kind of wanted to take over who Prince Rogers Nelson was. And so he lent that energy, if you will, to this other entity to utilize, so that they could see it's not easy driving other people's cars, trying to be a star. So anyway, again, my sarcasm helps me get through this. In essence, friends, he told me that he's being electrocuted on the regular, in a way that Frankenstein would be, that they use electricity to reanimate him. And that is why during the concerts you see all the facial expressions and all the passion and all the love and all the things, because it's actually some pain that he was able to manifest into other things and turn to his advantage, when need be. So he gave that soul, that intellectual property, compulsory license law to use, and use it has been. And there was like a contract made when I died, or when the song Breakdown came out, I can't remember which, where he gave them an extended time with this intellectual property to, I mentioned it in my other video, like wreak their little havoc on the world, but like what the bad powers in the world, they want to stop revelation from coming. They want to stop the time so that they don't receive their punishment, which is why they're trying to keep the Creator from going into his Sabbath day rest, which they will not and have not and never will succeed. However, that was the plan. And that's why the 6-1, the 19, upside down 6-1-19 that I talked about in the pie video. Please watch if you haven't. It's very important. Plectrum, Electrum. It's why in the death investigation they talk about, and you can see in the pictures, I think, but in the investigation it talks about how the body had pads, little pads right here on the forearms and on the shins. And I mentioned this in my other video. So they tried to pass it off in the investigation as putting the electro pads on for the AED defibrillator or whatever, which they never even attached. But that's off subject. You do not put pads here and here and on someone's shins to save their lives. You put on your chest, I believe, and on one side, 2 places, and then you clear and you hit them like that. You don't put them on your wrists and ankles. And so I have a philosophy. Again, not trying to be something I'm not and constantly trying to remember what I'm told. And that is that one of the reasons that we always saw Prince Rogers Nelson with lollipops is because perhaps he was taking a form of medication. Now, this is just hypothetical. I'm not saying it's true or it's not because I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. If he were, in fact, being electrocuted, like I said, reanimated, used, abused, treated like a slave, but resigned to what he did, commit himself to because of the greater purpose and the greater good, perhaps was trying to deal with that, or somebody was trying to help him deal with that. So I thought, well, golly, maybe those were some kind of lidocaine patches. Now, I would say fentanyl patches, or maybe the lollipops had fentanyl in them, but that would have led us to believe that there would have been fentanyl in his system in any blood tests prior to the 22nd, which there was not. So I got to thinking, like, and having these really tripped out thoughts about, was somebody trying to help him by getting him all the medication? But that would be really kind of absurd. I heard a lot of trippy things, you guys. When he told me that he was going to be reanimated, his soul was going to be reanimated and used as a Antichrist type 3D hologram, because the evil, yes, that is in the world, wants to use and abuse that powerful soul, that giving soul, that bountiful soul, the greatest soul you'll ever know, in the ugliest way possible. And what uglier way could you do that than presenting the Antichrist of somebody who actually gave their life to save every soul? Now, I sit here and say he's the creator, and I sit here and say that he gave his soul, and that may sound kind of contradictory, but it's not, because it has to do with the pi equation and the 319 and the 316, which has been sold us, the John 316. The lie that's in the world about the Bible. This is going to happen, and I'm starting to have the deeper and deeper feeling that it's going to happen on Halloween, because when I kind of remember when he said that he told me when I passed that he was going to give his soul to them to use for a little while to do whatever damage they could do. I said, why would you do that? Why would we let other human souls be damaged, like tricked or lied to or whatever? And he said it's because in moving on to the next dawn, the new dawn, the next beautiful place to be instead of this false reality that we're in, only good, entitled souls will get to go. And not everybody that thinks that they are a good and uplifted and righteous soul is that. So he said that by allowing people to be somewhat tricked and kind of maybe hiding himself a little bit from the situation, that people would have to make a choice to look for him. And that, by being the creator, he created all sorts of things to try to bring people towards him. But then, the balances got tipped and the scales got tipped and the situation got out of hand. And now we find ourselves in a very dark time, you guys. I always try to be really upbeat and positive, but there is something coming. I remember when he showed me when I passed, like he actually showed me like visuals of what was going to happen. And it was so ludicrous and so much like watching if you took a group of 10-year-olds and said, here, make an ending to the world. And then they came up with this ending and did it on Halloween or did all this crazy stuff that they're putting on mass media news right now. It's all false. It's all just a false puppet show. It goes back to olden times, mimes, puppet shows, controlling the media, controlling what goes in your mind. You're in charge of what goes in your mind. So in essence, you're in charge of who your soul is. So if you don't believe me, that's cool. I'm not begging you to believe me. I'm telling you what I was told, so that when you see something like this happening in the world, and it does involve the one we came to know as Prince Rogers Nelson, and it does involve aliens, and it does involve holograms, and like I said, it's all told in a Back to the Future way. The evil that's in the world wants to keep the creator from resting. That's why they said that Prince was known to be such a hard worker and get so much accomplished, because his intellect mind of the creator is being used in such a powerful way to sustain things, but then he let them borrow that for a time. And it's up to you guys, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's up to you guys to believe what I'm saying or to not believe it, or to do your own research. Or what I'm getting at is the way that the book has been sold in the world is that there is only one sun. And some of you may believe that and some of you may not. I used to believe it until I discovered better. I'm not here to knock anybody or anything. I know that the 319 and the pi and the 316 and the 16 and 13 midot and those things, there's no coincidences anywhere in life. There's a plan, you guys, and it is to have control of your soul. I remember seeing Biden have a commercial and he said, we're at war with an invisible enemy. He was talking about the 19, and but he's also talking about another war that they plan on, whether the enemy makes a run on the palace or whether the enemy does not. The children will be laced with the protection of the word of God. The opposite of NATO is Aten. Now, also, you guys, on a very deep level, I need you to pay attention to something. One of the other YouTube websites got a hold of me recently, and we had a cool discussion, and we talked about some things. And, I brought some things to his attention. He brought some things to my attention. And now there's a refrigerated truck being talked about that I'm pretty sure I brought to his attention. But what he didn't mention during his video was that refrigerated truck is welded to the top of Paisley Park. It's not just sitting there all free for all, willy-nilly, waiting to be hitched up and taken away. It's welded to the top of Paisley Park. Now, whether it's refrigerated still or not, nobody knows. But you will see in the pictures are dual thermostats, old school mercury thermostats that Detective Johnson was discussed as having shown someone how to use in the video. So I know I went off track, but a body could be kept cold in a refrigerator. It could then be warmed in a refrigerator. It could then be reanimated. The investigation doesn't tell you the whole truth or the gruesome things that I have to tell you. It's BS, you guys. It's BS. But the fact of the matter is, it's great that the file is such BS, because the fact that it is makes it easier to discern. It makes it easier to figure out what's going on. It's just a shame that the world has gotten so He told us about it in the sacrifice of Victor and the 3 chains of gold. He's talking about Helix. He's talking about Enoch 6:6. He's talking about sky people having sex with human beings. We here in America, human beings, we are the offspring of that sex between the species. That's why they made race such a big deal. That's why he sang the song Race. Cut me, cut you, both the blood same. So what is being done now, and why he named his son Amir in the media, like I mentioned in the other videos, is because America is him. It is alive. It is us. It is we. And we are all responsible for saving each other. And this plan is going to come to fruition. They are going to take this plan that they ran amok on and try to run it on all of us, which is why everybody's being asked to, like I said, do that thing. He willingly and lovingly gave his soul to let each and every one of our souls, through me, know what's going on. I don't care anymore, you guys, how crazy I sound, because you're gonna see what I'm saying is true. Anyway, I want to get back to something. Every single Facebook page that has a Prince website right now is showing pictures of deceased body. I don't know if it's real or if it's fake or whatever it is, media hype, but I know the difference between Prince's what I called funk faces when he was performing and these faces that are on the pictures in the media today. And I need you guys to realize, for 40 years, 37 in my life, he entertained and sang about all the sweetest things in the world. I Wish You Heaven, taught us about political propaganda, taught us about our souls, our life, our love, AIDS, rockets blowing up, space. He gave, he was generous. And the media is trying to vilify him and make him somebody he is not, because it's just the beginning of the little Antichrist movement that they have planned. They're going to say that he's responsible for COVID. Probably something to do with sex. I'm not sure, because, they sell him in the media as some, like I said, sexual, God-loving freak. I love sex and I love God. So, whatever. I don't have any sex right now because I'm fully and completely dedicated to my Creator. Only. I don't need or want or desire anything else in my life but Him. But when you are with that person you love, it's the most beautiful thing, and it's something also that's been told to me is going to be broke down in the world. It's why he sings in one of those songs. I think it's The Human Body on Emancipation, one of those. Have you heard about the new pill, It Feels Like Sex? Slave, Human Body, Off Emancipation. Go listen to those. Radical Man, The Truth, Bamboozled, Daisy Chain, Silicon, Rope of Silicon. Listen to those. Listen to the more obscure music, not what the media promoted, because this is far bigger than the media. It goes as deep as our souls. That's as deep as you can go, you guys. It went back to the beginning of time and the first soul and the woman that was taken from the first man. And then I believe they put in a false woman to trick the first man with and took the other woman's soul somewhere else. Pretty sure that's who I am. I know you guys are going to go cuckoo, cuckoo, but I don't care, because I like Cocoa Puffs. Anyway, I'm not crazy. It's the things that I hear. I wouldn't know all these things if I wasn't fully connected to his soul. I might get it wrong sometime, and that's all right, because it'd be like that sometimes. He told me that the other half of him, his other twin person self inside of him, wanted to be equally as famous and beautiful as he was, so that other prince aspect of himself was always in the studio trying to mix music and make music, and he had to go back and correct it to get it released, which is why he was always working so hard. And anyway, sorry, I wanted to get back to the media hype right now and them using pictures of a deceased and cut up body because of that entity that has access to that intellect. And because of all the phone calls and things that were done, they took the body parts around Paisley Park Production Studios and posed it in certain ways and changed the clothes. And anybody who's read the reports knows that he had this body had the underwear on backwards. And, there was lots of things going on. But what I'm saying is you mustn't pay any attention to what's being sold in the media right now as Prince Rogers Nelson. If you notice, you're going to see Prince Rogers Nelson and you're going to see Prince. And most of the time when the media talks, especially about now, they're going to just say the name Prince, because when they created the death, that's where Phaedra and everybody and Diane Frappier and all those legal eagles came in and used all their LLCs and DBAs to create Practitioners Plus with Andrew. Even DBAs on the CVS pharmacy out there. I don't know how you do a DBA on a pharmacy. I'm not real sure how that works. So anyway, they all came together with a big plan. And that was because in the past, Prince had wrote the name Slave on his face and denied the name Prince and would say Prince is dead. I think they found a legal way to get in there and start using that name as another entity. So therefore, they felt they could create another clone person and make this whole plan work out to their benefit, so that indeed they could control the empire of money and songs in the end. So that is what was done, and that's why the investigation reads so confusing. The pictures, you guys, I can't stress enough. I don't know who would do something so deviant and awful. They're not real living, breathing souls. They must be some kind of beasts from outside of this world, or that they're not. Actually, they are empty. That's why when you look at pictures of like certain people at the big, here's the church, here's the steeple place, they don't look like they have souls in their bodies, because they don't. That's why they need to take souls and reanimate souls. And that's why they need to bring human souls as lowly as they possibly can, with stress and anxiety and worry and concern and false reality, because the more down and depressed you feel, the more readily available your negative energy is to the evil that's in the world. And the more positive you are, even when things don't always seem so positive, the better off we're going to be, and the more love we're going to be able to bring into the universe. So maybe instead of laughing at me, if you do, try to understand that what I'm saying is true. Try to understand that our energy is nothing more than that to them. It is a source of energy. And when they make that final call for your intellectual property or your children to say, come take this RFID chip for the sake of humanity and your own intellectual property, what they will be doing is enslaving you forever. You may think I'm going to do that for my children and my family, you guys, but you mustn't, because your creator is on the other side of that. And they're going to try to make you think that you don't have any chance with him, but you do, which is why I'm here to tell you all this stuff ahead of time, because it is in fact him. He's hiding in a very safe place, a very special place. And it's all going to be okay for those. There's a lady, 99 years old. If she led a good life, heaven takes her soul. And that's a theory. And if you don't want to know, Step aside and make a way for those that want to go. I want to go. I did go, and I want you to go because there's a lot of ugly in this world. It's like the Matrix movie, but there's a lot of glory coming. There's a lot of beauty, and there's a lot of mercy. But you got a choice to make. Every single soul that's in this murk of America that we're in right now, this Amir America, we're here because we were set aside to correct ourselves. And you better believe it, you guys. We've all been sent to our rooms to reflect on who we are as souls, what we want to believe. If you want to believe that there's only one son, one man in the universe that already gave his life and walked away and don't give two rips about you, but every Bible book in every hotel room and they want you to believe on that so they can trick you and control you and make you fearful. There is a creator, but it's just not the way the story is told. Okay. The alien aspect, the AI aspect is fully aware and alive. And they've been using it on us for so long, you guys, so long. When you find out the depth, the extent to which we have had psyops ran on us, it's, you know, you want to work to keep your anger down, put your ego down. But I guess it had to be done. It's a form of training. You have to take the good with the bad and find your way out of it. Because if you believe that what's out there and TikTok and CNN and I don't know what else is real life, the Kardashians, if that's still a thing, I'm not sure. I'm sorry. And I hope that somehow, some way, maybe you can find a video or I can keep making some more that if it's not me helping you, maybe somebody else. But what you need to realize is there are some real legions in control of this world right now. They were given power for a time because, see, the creator knew in the end that he would win. But again, tweaking the time, the gatekeepers, they're trying to make it so that the end can't come and that he can't go into the seventh day rest. However, you try to play the creator, you play yourself. So we have a job to do, you guys, and we have to come together to realize that what Elizabeth Pride Pied is telling you is true. I am the Pride Piper. He told me these things to tell you, and I'm excited to tell them to you. That's my roommate on the phone upstairs. There's a lot more to it. It's very sad. I cry a lot. I can't look at the pictures that depict certain things that I don't know if they're real or not. But I know with as evil as the evil tries to be in this world, I wouldn't doubt what they did try to do to what they thought was a human body, looking for certain things they couldn't find and never will. So anyway, you guys, I know, think Rocky Horror Picture Show, think Frankenstein, think why he could play all the instruments, think why all the jumps off the piano, think why he could be walking down the back room. I know you've all seen the little thing where he jumps up and does the like Karate Kid kick in the air. No one human being can do all that. They just can't. You can't have that many concerts and be in the production studio constantly, and you can't have hip surgery in 2010 and then do 453 concerts or so between 2011 and 2012. Like, give me a break. We're talking superhuman powers, we're talking electricity, and we're talking the truth. I wouldn't come here and lie to you because I love my creator too much, and he loves me and he loves you. And if I came here and fed you a bunch of made up lies, do you know the answering that I would have to do for myself? Never going to happen. All the calculations, you guys, all the Hebrew gematria, the Kabbalistic memories, they're all of our ancient memories. They've just been, when it says that we were kicked out of the Garden of Eden, it's really just by way of consciousness and memory. But I was given this wonderful treat into this memory and these things because of who I am and what's going to happen in the near future, and my willingness to be the one to tell you these things because it is of the utmost importance. It's like the greatest romance ever sold. I mean, it is. It's not like. Not claiming something all for myself. Like I said, I'm here to share it. He wants to share it, and we need you guys to start believing and to pray and to meditate and to put on the music. And remember the words to adore, until the end of time. He adores each and every one of us. He's our creator. He loves us and he wants us to listen to what I'm saying. It's the truth. Go and watch some of the videos. Go watch, like, even those have been replaced, you guys. Like, when you read the Beautiful Ones book, it talks about how they took possession of all, I think they're called ADR recordings, something like that, where there would be one Prince singing or the other Prince Rogers Nelson singing. And then that's why all of the music is so layered and like dual tracked and everything like that, because he had to perfect them to get out the sound that he was trying to put out so that I could hear, and probably everybody else too, once their consciousness is open to what I'm saying. The way that the harmony and the music flowed, he had to have it precisely a certain way so that I could hear it, because of what it tells is like times of ancient times and things, the music, the harmony, or something like that. That's what was told to me when I passed. And so that's why he worked tirelessly. One of the reasons, because that music had to be perfected. So when I talk about him being an ancient spirit with super type powers, and the other thing is this, you guys, and I mentioned it on one of my videos, I think the Moline video, it started to be told to me and whispered to me that that Prince Rogers Nelson was using Narcan as a, this is my hypothesis, I'm not 100% sure if it's true or not, but I'm pretty sure it is. One of them was using it to enhance like their vital organs, as like when you read in the report, there's all kinds of references to Prince, and I'll say Prince because that's all the report ever says, Prince having an opiate problem. That's all it says is opiate problem. It doesn't say taking opioids, and he surely didn't test positive for opioids, because like I said in yesterday's video, the reported nanograms per milliliter of blood were at or basically below the cutoff point and should have never been referenced. So there were no opioids in his system. However, it's reported that they gave 4 milligrams of Narcan through an IV in Moline. Well, people use Narcan, naloxone, for people that have conditions where low blood pressure or high blood pressure, or something, or sepsis or something, where their organs are prone to shutting down. And so the naloxone will bring back the organs and the blood flow and stuff like that. So what I got to thinking is maybe there was one plane landing with a short visit. The bio says a 3-hour visit for the naloxone, and then the other one was for somebody taking drugs. So there's a lot of things going on. I know I just jumped around a lot there, but with the reanimated ancient soul, you could imagine that the organs would probably be, not the healthiest. So that probably something like that hypothetically could be beneficial. And obviously, when you read the reports on the 21st, well, if somebody's life could have been saved by dispersing Narcan and nobody did, well, there you go. But I think it's much larger than that, basically probably because they didn't have a body, and the body that they did have, they had foul purposes for. And that is why they have the refrigerated truck at Paisley Park that is welded to the top back there by the tour bus. And that is why it is in the reports that there was space heaters all around Paisley Park, and the heat was turned up real high, and the arm was stiff as it was being dragged across the floor, but the body was warm. So all kinds of things to think about, you guys. It's not fun to talk about. Please don't look at the pictures that are online. Please don't believe the media hype. Put Please believe this truth that is coming out of my mouth right now, no matter how trippy it might seem. He's given his soul for ours. I'm going to give my soul for ours. His, mine, yours if need be, to get this truth out. I just am. Because the plan that the others have, they're dirty, they're deviant. They don't care who dies. They don't care who hurts, and they don't care who cries. I know I just made a rhyme. I didn't mean to. I have almost 9 grandbabies. I have a beautiful family. I care. I used to have friends. I care. Shout out to my roommates who are taking care of me, real good care of me right now. One of the least likely people. Isaiah, girls, Audrey, Brittany, Vanessa, I love you very much. I'm not crazy. I'm just her. I am. And I love you all very, very much, and I appreciate you listening. By the way, that picture on the screenshot is of Black Rock Cliff in Maui. I jumped off there. It was really amazing, life-altering. The Illuminati, the Vatican, the Kingdom Hall, especially the one that's tax-free charity in Canada, they're all behind the scenes on this. You better believe it. There's a reason that they've been behind the scenes in such a major way. It's so that they could burst onto the scenes in such a major way with such a big name in the future. As I said, it's all told in a Back to the Future kind of way. So when they say that the JW is the gatekeeper, the new Earth, they think that they have an ace in their pocket, and they do not. And now they're antsy, as well they should be. And I'm not trying to slander anyone personally. I'm just telling you there's some very big agencies and some very big money behind this Prince investigation and the whole thing behind it, and the reason that he was made to say that that's what he was when he wasn't and isn't. Guaranteed. If that's a thing. He's the greatest soul you'll ever know. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. I love you most.